Welcome to the Scary Show. To the Scary Show. To the Scary Show.
Welcome to the Scary Show. Tonight's scary comes from Reddit user RoseBlack2222. You'll find more spine-tingling tales by this author by following the Reddit link below. And now, this is How I Came to Appreciate the Rain. I used to hate it. Not just hate it, despise it. I loathed having my clothes soaked, and the pitter-pattering of it on the roof drove me crazy. Stepping in mud puddles was an extra annoyance, and not to mention ruining what would otherwise be bright and sunny days. However, that all changed one night. I had just gotten off work, tired from a long shift. I called an Uber to have me picked up. I glanced at the sky, seeing how overcast it was, hoping my ride would be here before the rain came down. He did technically arrive after it began. Thankfully, though, it was before it really started pouring.
Hey, how you doing?
My driver asked me. I'm alright, just a little tired.
I feel you. Can you believe this weather? I checked it earlier. It said like only 2% chance of rain.
Well, I guess it was a big 2%.
You could say that again. Anyway, because of it, getting to your neighborhood will take a little longer.
That's fine. Let me know when we're close. He gave me a nod and then turned forward. As he drove us out of the parking lot, I pulled out my phone to pass the time. While watching the video, I heard him say something that caught my attention.
What the hell?
Is something wrong?
Oh, it's nothing. I thought I saw something cross the street just now. Didn't get a good look at it though.
It was probably a deer. We get those sometimes around here. I looked back down at the video I was watching.
Yeah, well, thing is, and maybe it was only my imagination, but I could have sworn it was running upright.
What? I asked, glancing back at him. It had to be somebody crossing the street then.
I'm not too sure of that. Whatever crossed the street definitely had some antlers, or at least horns.
At this point, I considered the possibility that he was messing with me. However, seeing his nervous expression in the rearview mirror made me reconsider this. Either he happened to be a really good actor, crazy, or worst of all, there really was something out there. Although I didn't show it, I began feeling uneasy as well. Just keep driving then. We'll be in my neighborhood soon. He did as told, focusing back on the road, and there was only silence between us for the next couple of minutes. Then I got a feeling of being watched. It felt like someone's eyes were burrowing into the back of my head. I didn't want to look back, but it was as though my neck was being controlled by puppet strings. Standing dead center of the road, with the rain pouring down around it, was the creature. It didn't exactly have antlers, but it didn't exactly have horns either. It's hard to explain. What I did find clear was that this thing was clearly not meant to be seen by human eyes. What saved mine, as well as my driver's sanity, was the rain. Yes, the very thing that I despised for my entire life up until then was now the only thing shielding me from seeing that creature in its entirety. Although the rain obscured most of it, I did see some other features of it. The most striking thing about it was its eyes. It didn't only have two, it had eyes covering its entire body. They were all human-like in appearance, and each one was a different color that glowed with a dim light in them. I saw only the gaze of a hungry predator.
Hey, you alright?
"Drive faster!" He didn't reply, but instead pressed harder on the gas. I didn't need him to tell me. He knew I'd seen it too. The fear in his eyes made that perfectly clear. It wasn't happy with the fact that we were speeding up. I didn't understand what I was seeing at first. Then it registered to me. It was growing taller, already being tall. This caused it to be a staggering height. Its legs weren't even the only thing growing. It was only then did I notice that its front legs weren't even really legs at all. They were more akin to the arms of an ape. They too grew along with its fingers. Despite how unnerving that was to see it, it was only the second most terrifying thing that it did. The first was when it let out a screech and gave chase.
Jesus almighty H. Christ!
My driver said, looking in his rearview mirror and seeing what I had. It was impossibly fast, catching up to us with ease. "Go faster!"
What do you think I'm doing? I'm already pushing past 100!
We could only hope we'd reach my neighborhood before it could reach us. Unfortunately, things didn't turn out that way. I returned my gaze out the back windshield and found it was no longer on the road. I informed my driver of this.
Maybe it gave... Oh, shit!
It had gotten in front of us. He slammed on his brakes, trying to stop, presumably about to make a sharp U-turn. It didn't give him the chance. Its arms shot forward, seizing the car by the sides, flipping it with ease. We screamed as it went into the air for a moment, and then fell onto its roof, resulting in the window shattering. I remember my teeth chattering on impact. Lucky I didn't end up biting off my own tongue. What wasn't lucky is the fact various shards of glass were now sticking into my ribs and chest. That, coupled with the fact I'd hit my head, was causing me to rapidly lose consciousness. My driver was still conscious as it approached the vehicle. Having gotten closer to us, it became more visible, even through the rain. I thought my mind would break, but by some miracle, a gust of wind blew some rain into my eyes, blurring them. Through my now limited vision, I made out one of its arms going into my driver's window, grabbing him, then yanking him out, screaming. Its other arm stretched towards me, and that's when I finally passed out. I woke up later in the hospital. The doctors told me it was a wonder I was still alive. As it turned out, we were close enough to my neighborhood for what some of my neighbors thought was a car wreck to be heard. I'm thankful to them for calling an ambulance and to the paramedics who got me to the hospital. They had to defibrillate me on the way there, and I required a lot of blood as well as bandages, plus stitches. some cops were there to take my statement. I knew that telling them the truth would get me thrown in a straitjacket. Therefore, I instead told them a deer caused my driver's car to be flipped. That's sort of true. They thankfully didn't press me for further questions. It took many months of physical therapy, but I'm happy to say I've managed to make a full recovery. I've also gotten a new job because my previous one let me go for missing too many days. Personally, I think it's better this way. The job I have now is close and I can walk to it. Plus, I don't have to take that godforsaken road anymore. Speaking of which, my experience isn't an isolated incident. Since then, which was over 2 years ago now, a number of accidents and disappearances have occurred along that road. Due to this, the road has been condemned. I'm not sure when it appeared or if it's always been there. Maybe it's some kind of extra-dimensional being that decided to come into our world. Maybe it's a forest spirit awakened, enraged by humanity encroaching on its territory. So far, I'm the only one who's survived seeing it, and I think I know why. The answer is something I tried not to think about for the sake of my mental health. I believe the reason it didn't take me was because, technically, I had been dead. That means it only wants live prey. To do what with them? I have no clue. Nor do I wish to find out. Sometimes, when it's raining, I'll stare out my window and think about that night, about how it kept me from fully seeing that creature. I almost think of it akin to a mother shielding her impressionable toddler from seeing something that would scar them for life. Did some force looking out for me cause the storm that saved me, or had it merely occurred by coincidence? In either case, the steady pitter-pattering of it on my roof I now find very relaxing. If you enjoy the stories you find here, click the like button. Think of it as applause at the end of a performance. If you haven't already, subscribe and click the bell for all notifications. It's the top icon. Share this story with everyone you can so that others may discover The Scary Show. Questions, comments, suggestions? Leave them down below. The Scary Show always answers the fans. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week with a brand new episode of The Scary Show.